Well, it's just about time we get to discuss about the just concluded strike by online drivers. And with me here is the G himself. Karibu sana Explore TV. It's such an
Thank
honor
you.
to welcome you to your own channel, but we are happy to have you here. And just to start off right with, can you briefly introduce yourself and tell us how long you've been in this industry of Uber drivers, as we call them?
Yeah, so I know most people don't know me because I have never been interviewed in my own channel. So my name is Joseph. I am an investor in the taxi business. I also do part-time taxi driving, and I'm very, very passionate about this business because I have seen its potential. I have been in this business since June 2021, so you can do the math. I think it should be around 2 years then. And then, I've supported so many people to join the industry. I have advised so many people who would have wanted to invest into this business just by taking them through the numbers of how it would actually look like when they have bought a car and given to a driver, like how much money they would end up in their pocket, and then they make a decision from there.
Well, that is well explained. And just to dive into the business of the day, the strike. So, what was your experience when you heard about it and when you were there?
Yeah, so I really want to recognize those drivers who took part in that strike. It is good, sometimes if you see as if nobody is listening to you, you take it to the streets so that you can disrupt the norm, and then, by chance you could be heard. Unfortunately, the strike happened on a weekday, and I was, on my daily job, not the part-time driving, but I'm employed, so I was in office doing my work. But I would say I felt the heat of that strike because I had to take a boda from where I live all the way to Westlands, and another boda from Westland all the way back to where I live. So I want to say that, everybody, and unless you are ignorant, that that strike was well seen. Whether it will create an impact or not, that is what remains to be seen.
Okay, based on your engagement with these drivers, as you have friends and all of that, big group of people, what are the reasons that you could get from these drivers, even coming from you to these companies?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest issue that took drivers to the street was mistreatment by the companies, these taxi companies. A lot of people who go to this business of taxi driving, they do it as the only job that they have. But again, some drivers were saying that they are being mistreated by these companies by the fact that their accounts get locked, they get banned from ever using these accounts. And one driver was explaining a situation whereby you as a rider, you request a trip, I am the driver. Then for any reason, you decide not to continue with that trip before the driver picks you, and then you cancel. When you cancel, my driver's score goes down. So like a lot of drivers were very bitter because when your score goes down beyond a certain threshold, your account gets blocked. So they were saying as if like, these companies are not at all considering them. And when the account get banned, they deny them a livelihood, they deny them an income. In as much as others were saying the prices were down, and they want an improvement, but even before the prices increased, like drivers want to be seen as, as equal partners in the whole network of this partnership, and that is why they were going to the street. If you are the client, you cancel the trip, let your score as a client be affected, not that of the driver. I think that is something that is very emotional, and for me it hurts so much because it happens to me, it happens to drivers, even before we address other issues. And I think drivers were just there to express their frustrations.
Well, that is quite a good one. Uber driving, Uber services, as you can see here in Kenya, become very affordable. And I can say this is something that we are happy as clients, but what do you see according to the rates that they give you as a driver and you earning from them?
I don't know how to comment about it, but definitely in any equation, every person would like more money in their pocket. If you ask passengers or riders, they would like the fares to be affordable so that they can travel cheaply. For the drivers, they want prices to be tripled so that they can have more money in their pocket. But I think it would be important for us to look at data. You get, we can maybe, I don't know who can provide this information, and ask ourselves, when prices are low, how does it affect the demand side? You know, there's something called demand elasticity. When you increase price, how does it affect the demand? You know, that is a big question that every driver needs to ask themselves. We are calling for higher prices, but we might be surprised that if price for this application is taken up by 30%, we might lose 50% of the demand. Like, a lot of people might just give up on using taxi. You get my point?
Yes.
And then at the end of the day, drivers might end up losing more money than they thought they were chasing. So for me, I wouldn't say that it is a positive gain by increasing prices. You get my point? What I think can be done, it is for the government to come in and try to incentivize this business through other ways so that it is cheaper for the rider and it is, you know, a good income for the driver. For instance, if you are an economy is built even by its transport industry. If the government can support importation of taxi cars, you get, if a car is being imported for public service use, can it be exempted from income from import tax to a certain percentage? Can drivers be subsidized at the point of fuel station? Can they get fuel at a cheaper price, subsidized by the government? You get my point?
Yes.
But not looking literally at increasing the price for the rider, because that one will not make anything better for the drivers. You get my point?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, this is quite interesting. Wow, you have a wide knowledge bank with you. To the next, I would like to know more about how you interact with the owners of these online applications. They have given you the opportunity to make money. When you thought about the strike or all of those demands, was there any channel to them or anything that happened to have some communication, like how we are seeing Gen Zs with the government? Is there Uber drivers with their bosses?
So thank you very much for that question. What I can say is that I tried to reach out to Bolt and Uber to have, you know, a common point of view so that when I am expressing my views in my channel, we can also advocate for better life for drivers. They never responded, so I have never had an active engagement with them. But I think they are also very difficult people to reach because they know the problems on the ground and they are sure they cannot solve these problems. They cannot increase the prices. They cannot maybe take a lesser commission. I am sure they are not interested in this type of conversations. But if we approach them as a partner and then we go to the government and request for subsidies in some areas, because as I mentioned in my previous video, and people reacted either positively and other negatively. Money is not made by the transactions between the drivers and the riders. Money is made when people circulate in a city. You get my point? When people circulate in a city, that's when money is made. Like, people have opportunities to do business, people have opportunities to go to work and then create revenue and returns for the government. If we pitch that value proposition to the government as drivers hand in hand with Uber, you know, the government will do something. And I think that is the approach I propose to our drivers. Okay? Yeah, so for me, I've never tried to interact with these companies because I realize that their global strategy is the same and they only change their strategy if they are influenced by a government policy. If the government does not intervene, this company will do nothing.
Okay, well said. So what's your forecast? If these things persist, what do you see as one that is eating from the table of Uber driving? If they're able to change, what is it that you could see as a future of hope in both ways, negative and positive?
Yeah, so for me, already the business the way it is, I see it from a very positive point of view, depending on who is doing it. You get my point? For me, as an investor, I have bought a car, I have given to a driver. That driver gives me 8,500 per week. If that car will take any money back in terms of servicing and maintenance, maybe it will take 2,000 for it to take care of itself. So per week, I have my net 6,000 passively without doing anything, which is good money. You get my point? When it comes to the driver, it depends. You know, some people who became driver are highly qualified professionals. They are people who educated with master's degree and stuff. Those are people who are very ambitious. They want a lot of money. And unfortunately, the reality is they cannot make that money in this business. I think this business is made for a certain level of ambition. If you want to make $1,200,000 per month from this business, I'm sorry, it cannot. But if you are a young man, maybe jobless, who want to take home 50K, 100K maximum, you can get that delivered through this business. So it is a matter of awareness. What can this job put into your pocket in the best case scenario? You get my point? And then you decide, can I be satisfied or not? Because for me, there is an amount it cannot give you. So it's for you to choose. Will you be happy with what it can give? And then you make your choice to stay or to quit.
Well, that's the power challenge we are getting from here. And can I just say how interesting it has been? And thank you so much for the insights that you've had. Karibu tena Explore TV. We can't wait to have the next one from you as well.
Thank you. And maybe I can introduce you. You are actually, she is called Maria. Hopefully next time she will show her face. She is a co-founder of this channel. If you go to our first 3 videos of this channel, you will see her. I don't know what happened in between her life. She disappeared, but welcome back as well.
Thank you. Glad to be back. And let's see how this goes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.